So the ultimate solution to this Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler situation has just come across, and it's perfect. Um, and I know I've made a series of videos about who Michael Chandler could face instead. And I know Islam Makhachev was included. I got a lot of blowback for that one, but I honestly still feel like stylistically, like a fight IQ smart Michael Chandler would actually have a decent shot against the Dagestani. Just with the D1 NCAA All-American background, and you understand that, Islam's more of a dynamic wrestler versus a pressure wrestler. So I figured it would just be a really good matchup. It would have to be like Islam KOing Michael Chandler. I don't think he would have as easy of a time submitting Michael, in my honest opinion. I could be wrong on that. But then there was like Nate Diaz. There was a Dustin Poirier 2 fight, but Dustin doesn't like Michael too much. There was a lot of where's Michael Chandler going to go? And I felt like Michael Chandler was done dirty. I know a lot of people were telling Michael Chandler, hey, Michael, you kind of brought this on yourself. You know the kind of person Conor McGregor is. And, to an extent, this was a pretty predictable outcome to anybody who's a bit realistic. A lot of us wanted to believe that Conor McGregor was going to come back at least for some showman opportunities because the title days were done. But obviously, he's busy now running for president, and if he wants to go do that, go ahead. It's like he's going to do what he's going to do, and that's that. In fact, honestly, I might actually make a video on that later. But I'm not really much of a politician myself, but it is interesting to see someone go from MMA to future presidential candidate. But since he's running for office, I don't really think the Michael Chandler fight's really going to happen. And Michael Chandler was there, man. Michael Chandler was there through The Ultimate Fighter, coaching all of his people. He was dedicated. So, he didn't slack the 2 years building up to the fight. He did everything he said he was going to do, and then he just got left hanging. But I think he's starting to realize that, we can only believe in fairy tales for so long. So who are we going to match him up against? But a savior has come in Street Jesus. Jorge Masvidal. Now, honestly, I don't want to, make anything sacrilegious. But, so I apologize for that quip. But Jorge Masvidal is coming from his MMA retirement back to the UFC and is open to a Michael Chandler fight. And Michael Chandler, with all the stuff he's done, has been definitely deserving of any money fight. Not just a Conor McGregor fight, but who else is a massive draw? Who won Fighter of the Year back in the day? Jorge Masvidal. Back when he was really marketable, when he got the fastest KO in UFC history against Ben Askren. The dude was a draw. He picked up steam. He picked up a following. He kind of fell from grace a little bit. But people still love him despite him not really being in his prime anymore. So he wants to come back. And I think that this is perfect because, do I think he beats Michael Chandler? I really don't know. I mean, he's a precision boxer. The question is, does he still have it? Because he did lose in a boxing match to Nate Diaz, and we were expecting him to win that one because he's just a cleaner boxer than Nate Diaz. So, I don't know. Is he losing steps? Is he only getting older? Yeah, so he's not going to come back the same. But Michael Chandler's not as young as he used to be. So it's an interesting fight, and this is perfect because Jorge Masvidal might get one last fight with the UFC to show up, bring some butts in the seats, because I'd still go watch him fight. I mean, the whole Colby Covington fight, I know he lost that, but he really was kind of victimized at the end of that one. Like the whole sucker punch thing coming out of nowhere, it was controversial, but I could understand where that was instigated. So the fans still had a lot of sympathy for Jorge. With all the drama and dirty laundry that got aired out throughout that drama thing, the fans kind of came out more on his side than ever. I can only speak for myself, obviously. I don't know how everyone else is speaking, but I was kind of like, I felt for him. But definitely he could have like some bit of a redemption arc if he's able to catch Michael Chandler. But then the best part is Michael Chandler finally gets that money fight he's been asking for. And I think the moral of this story, if this fight actually goes through, is patience is good. I know we were all sold. We wanted to see Conor McGregor fight Michael Chandler. Didn't happen, obviously. But, salvation does come. And I think that this is probably the best thing that can happen. And I know that Michael Chandler's been going through possible opponents a lot. I hope he just doesn't let this one slide because honestly, there's a reason that he said the Islam Makhachev matchup didn't happen. There's a reason that the Nate Diaz matchup didn't happen. And I feel like Jorge Masvidal, from that money fight perspective, is the best thing that could happen to Michael Chandler. And although a lot of people don't like Michael Chandler right now because he keeps begging for a fight, you got to admit he has earned a money fight. He has showed up. He came to the UFC. He came to entertain us. He came here for a good time, not a long time. So he's more than kept his word. Give him a good payday. Peace.